The General Council of the People's National Movement has said they are not in a position to comment on the Minister of Public Utilities, Marlene McDonald's choice of guests at his swearing-in ceremony on Friday. The Port of Spain South MP turned up with two guests from the Sea Lots area, Kenroy Dopwell and Cedric Burke. Burke's appearance raised a few eyebrows as he had previously been arrested under the anti-gang legislation, having been identified as a gang leader by the police during the 2011 state of emergency. When asked about Mr. Burke's appearance as the minister's guest at President's House, PNM PRO Stuart Young said it was not a PNM matter.
Thank you very much for that question. First of all, as you quite correctly recognize, you asked what is the PNM's position. That was the swearing in of Ms. Marlene McDonald as a cabinet minister. And it's important to make a demarcation here that the sole prerogative for the appointment or the revocation of any appointment of a minister, a cabinet minister, a parliamentary secretary, a minister in the office of, or even a minister of state, lies with one person. Constitutionally, that's the Prime Minister.
Mr. Young said, however, the Prime Minister would give his views on the matter soon.
The Honourable Prime Minister, in part of his important portfolios and duties, is also the chairman of the National Security Council. And as the chairman of the National Security Council, he is in possession of certain information. So the Prime Minister is his sole prerogative as to what decisions he takes with respect to any of his ministers, Minister Khan and myself included. And you can expect the Prime Minister to have discourse on that shortly.
And the Office of the President says it had asked Minister Marlene McDonald to submit a guest list for the swearing-in ceremony. She was allowed 3 invitations, but then asked for 2 extra names to be submitted. The Office of the President says they asked her for the names of her additional guests, but it was not received. When the guests came, they were told that their names were not on the list and they were not properly attired and they were made to wait downstairs. The President's office says when Minister McDonald came, she brought the unlisted guests upstairs and then introduced Mr. Burke as her guest and constituent. The President's office says at that time it would have been difficult to deal with the situation of Mr. Burke's attire. The President's office also says had Mr. Burke's name been submitted beforehand, it would have been spotted by the police special branch. Now there may now be an investigation into why and how this was allowed to happen.